Hi, Mr. Hem here again, and in this video I want to start programming the part where the ship can shoot projectiles, like maybe little circles, and allow the circles to move in the direction that the ship is facing. Now keep in mind there's going to be a lot of projectiles on screen. It could be a lot. It depends. We can control that. So we need some kind of list to manage the amount of projectiles there are. All right. And of course we need to make a projectile class and then spawn instances of those projectiles and chuck them to our list. So let's do that. Alright, so first thing we want to do is we want to create a projectile, and the projectile is going to inherit the game object. So we'll right click and create a new class called projectile. And we're going to inherit, can't pronounce, the game object. So it has all the stuff that the game object has ready to use. Right. So we can resolve vectors now and everything and we've got angle as well. So everything's kind of sorted out for us. We've got speed map, but we never used it. I never used it. Yeah, I've been, it's really kind of this. Oh well, I guess I can delete it. Don't need it. Alright, so this projectile here has all of those things. So since it has everything, we just need to only add things that we need for the projectile. And so first thing is, when we spawn the projectile, the ship's going to spawn the projectile. So we need to be able to control how we're going to spawn the projectile, like what kind of sizes it will have. The ship needs to tell the projectile how large you're going to be, what color you're going to be. So what we need to do is we need to create a constructor for that, so that when the ship uses a constructor to construct a projectile, it can give all that information to the projectile. Alright, so that's what we want to do. So the ship needs to tell it where it is, where to spawn yourself. Tell the projectile where to spawn. So we'll need the X and Y, so where to spawn. The ship also needs to tell the projectile what angle the ship is facing, so it can go in the same direction as the ship. So we need this. And the ship also needs to tell it what speed to travel at, how fast to shoot itself at. Well, the ship can tell it, or it can know itself, but I want the ship to be able to control that for debugging purposes. So we'll put speed in here as single. Right. And then I'll pass all of these parameters into our variables that already exist, because we inherit from the base class game object. The size I will set as 7 as a default. I won't allow the ship to resize it. I think there's too many inputs already. Angle I'll pass in, and speed here is our magnitude, so we really need to resolve it. We really need to resolve our vertical speed and horizontal speeds. So luckily, our resolve function is in our base class, so we can use it. Oops, this is when it resolves it. It produces a point. And I need to then chuck these components into that into them, into these V speeds and H speeds. All right, so that's sorted. That's sorted. What else should I give it? I just need to tell it how to draw itself, and that's pretty much all the bullet needs to know. So I'll just do an override on the draw. I don't need to overwrite the others because they're just going to behave like the base class. And I'll use the default color that is already set in the base class. Then I'll position this at the position that the ship would have given. The ship would have given these values into here, and I'll just position it there. And the reason why I'm minusing size divided by 2 is I'm shifting it the reference point so that it's in the middle. So it's got a middle reference, a center reference, rather than on the top corner. And that's pretty much it. That is our projectile done. Now I just need to get the ship to spawn it when it shoots. So the ship's going to manage all the projectiles that we need. How's our time looking? Manage. So I'm going to create a public shared list. The reason why I'm making a public shared is I probably want to access it in the game window so that I can check whether I need to delete the projectiles or not when it collides with other things. So I'm going to make this capital since it's public. Public projectiles with an S as a list of many of our projectile objects, and need to then allocate memory for it, ready to add more projectiles. And then what I want to do is just like right turn, left turn, and thrust, I'm going to add in another method that would be shoot, and this thing will spawn projectiles for us. So we'll go projectiles dot add, and it's going to add every time I shoot, it's going to add a new projectile. And then we need to give it all these values, and it's going to be pretty much at the position where the ship is. So me.x, me.y. Since we're in the context of the ship right now, it's giving the ship's coordinates to the projectile. The angle is the same as the ship's angle as well, but the speed we can set. We can give it like 7 or something. We can set its speed to whatever we want, however fast we want to shoot the projectile. And that's pretty much it. We're just gonna, every time we shoot, we add a projectile, and then the projectile is gonna start moving, because straight away we create the projectile, it resolves the speed and angle, and then knows how to move, and the base object already handles movement, given that these have got values. So this is all happening already, and we don't need to program anything. That's the beauty of this architecture, inheritance, and all that. Things are starting to fall into place. We just need to set things up, and Bob's your uncle. So at this point in time, I want to add a keybind to my shoot. So I'm going to go into my spaceship and just add a keybind to my shoot. I'll do a shoot on a spacebar. I don't know what the spacebar is, so let's have a look. Spacebar is 32. Go 32, and we're going to go shoot, and let's see if that works. Key check. Alright, so it's not working, so not sure why. Let me just check. Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, it is working. The only problem is I shoot, I create an object, but I never update or draw it. I never call the update function or the draw functions on it. So you'll never see it, or you'll never see it work. So let's call the update functions on it. And I'll let the spaceship handle that. So for each projectile in the projectiles list, let's update it. We go projectile.update. And of course, if I update it, I still can't see it. Even if I press spacebar, I can't see it because I haven't drawn it. So it's happening in RAM, but it's not actually being drawn. So over here, I'll draw it. And I'll draw the bullets behind the person, behind the ship. So for each, just copy and paste. Copy, paste. This is going to be a draw. Put a G in there, and that's it. Our projectile should now draw itself. We should see it. Again, we don't see it, so some other issue going on there. Let me just check if everything's working. So what I'll do is I'll set this thing. Spacebar, that's working. Moving in, X and Y, angle, resolve the vectors. We got some speeds. Ooh. No, that won't move. The projectile is spawning, but it's not moving. What's the angle to that? 7. Oh yes. E. 7. Let me check H speed. No, that's fine. That's 0 and that's 7. That's close to 0, that's 7. So that's fine. Except, why is that 7? It's horizontal speed. Uh-oh. Let me just, that's wrong. Our Y is our V speed. So that's one issue. That's one issue. Let's see if there's any other issues. So I need to fix the H and the Y's here. So flip those around. Press spacebar, let's have a look. So these are all working nicely. Let's go to this breakpoint. Next. So shoot's done. That's good. So the projectiles are going to move. Let's keep going. Draw ship. Okay, so what's this draw? This is the draw of the projectile. Oh, this is where we draw the projectiles. Let's have a look. So let me just jump to here. Go in. And I'm just demonstrating how I debug. There's one projectile in there. See, there's one projectile in there. There's one projectile, and that's the size of it, and that's the V speed of it, and that's the position. So it's there. And I just need to draw it. Oh, I see. So there's nothing in the draw. Then it draws this. This should be drawn. So all of these are, what's the color? Oh, so the color is, maybe you can't see it. I'm just gonna, it might, let me just put in color.black or something. Get rid of that. There we go. It was just, didn't show up. The color didn't show up. I think it should shoot faster than that. Size, give it a, no, size fine. The speed, the ship gives it its speed. Got to go to ship. The ship gave it a speed of what? Can't remember. The shoot was 7. Let's give it a speed of 10. Wow, that's beautiful. But look at it spray. We don't want it to. Okay, look, I don't want it to spray. What I want to do is, I don't want it to do rapid fire like that. So on my key press for shoot here, I should set my thing back to false straight away. So I can't hold the button down. So I'm going to go game window .key set, and this is the beauty of putting this thing in. Key set 32 to false, so that I have to press. I can't hold it. Can't do rapid fire. See, if I hold it, oh, it still works. There's a bug there. That's an issue. I don't know how to fix that one yet. I have to figure it out. But anyway, let's look at our time. We're going over time, but I'll see you in the next video.